Whether you're a first-time mom or an experienced one, it can be tricky to figure out how to position yourself for comfortable and safe football breastfeeding. That's why it's important to get the basics down before attempting this type of feeding. This way, you'll have the best chance at a successful experience for both you and your baby. 1. What tips should I use to ensure a comfortable and safe football breastfeeding position? When breastfeeding in the football position, there are a few tips to consider for comfort and safety. The first is to make sure that you have good support for your back with either pillows or a chair back. This will help reduce strain on your neck and shoulders, as well as reduce pressure on any sensitive areas such as cuts or bruises. Secondly, be mindful of how you position your baby while breastfeeding. It is important to ensure their head is supported and they are in an upright position so they can swallow properly without choking. Also, remember to keep the arm closest to the baby free so you can maneuver them during feedings if necessary. Finally, it is also important to adjust your clothing when breastfeeding in the football position in order to maintain privacy and avoid any potential discomfort or embarrassment. This can be done by wearing a shirt that is open up the front, wearing a nursing cover, or using a blanket to drape over your shoulder while breastfeeding. 2. What should I do if my baby is having difficulty latching while breastfeeding in the football hold? If your baby is having difficulty latching while breastfeeding in the football hold, there are a few steps that you can take to help make it more comfortable and successful. First, check to make sure your baby's chin is tucked into his or her chest and not pointing up in the air. This will ensure that your baby's mouth opens wide enough for a good latch when you bring him or her to the breast. You may need to adjust your positioning slightly if this isn't happening. Next, double-check that your baby's nose is facing you rather than away from you. This will give him or her easy access to breathing during feeding session. If necessary, place a small pillow behind your back to provide greater support and comfort for you and your baby. 3. What type of pillow should I use when breastfeeding in the football hold? When positioning your baby in the football hold, a large body pillow or regular bed pillows can help support both you and your baby. Position the pillow to provide back and neck support for yourself while cradling your little one's head and helping keep them more level with your breast. If you find that it is difficult to adjust the pillows while keeping a secure hold on your baby, try using 2 smaller pillows instead of 1 larger one. 4. Are there any techniques I can use to improve my ability to breastfeed in the football hold? Yes, to make breastfeeding in the football hold more comfortable and efficient, there are a few techniques that you can use. First, it's important to ensure that your baby is positioned correctly. Your baby should be facing your breast with their chin tucked into your breast and their nose free from obstruction. This will help them latch on correctly and get the most milk out of each feed. Secondly, it may help to adjust the way you're holding your baby's body. Instead of supporting them all around their torso, use one hand to support their bottom while the other holds up the back of their neck for extra stability. Doing this will help keep your baby in the correct position without having to hold them too tightly. Thirdly, make sure that you're supporting your breast correctly. Place one hand on your breast with your thumb and index finger underneath and support the weight of your breast, while the other is used to guide the nipple into your baby's mouth. This will help keep it in its correct position during feeding and make latching on easier for both of you. 5. Are there any specific techniques I can use to help keep my baby in the correct position while breastfeeding in the football hold? Yes, here are some tips to help. Make sure your baby's head is in line with their body. To achieve this, support your baby's neck and shoulders as you bring them to the breast. Your baby should be close enough so that your nipple touches their lower lip before latching on. This will help ensure they get a good latch. Place your arm on top of your baby and cup it around their back for extra support. You can also use pillows to keep them comfortable and secure while feeding. Try not to lean too far away from your baby or let their body slump backward against the pillow. Keep them upright, close to you so they can easily reach the breast. If your baby's chin is not touching your chest, bring them closer to you until it does. This will help give them a better latch and prevent milk from spilling out of the corners of their mouth. Make sure your baby's head is tilted back slightly so that it can swallow easily. You can achieve this by gently cupping the back of their head with your hand or fingers. 6. Is there anything I should do to make sure my baby is getting enough milk while breastfeeding in the football hold? Yes, make sure your baby is latching properly and comfortably so that they can get the nutrition they need. An easy way to make sure your little one is getting enough milk is to look for signs of frequent swallowing. Also, use a breastfeeding pillow to provide extra support for both you and your baby. Positioning pillows can help keep your baby's head in line with its torso, making the feeding experience more comfortable and efficient. Lastly, be sure to burp your baby after every feeding session when using this position. Doing so will help prevent any gas from lingering in their stomach, which can lead to discomfort or fussiness later on down the road. With these tips, you and your baby should have no problem safely and comfortably breastfeeding in the football hold. 7. Are there any risks associated with breastfeeding in the football hold? When breastfeeding in the football hold position, there are certain risks that should be taken into consideration. The most common risk is baby's neck getting injured if they arch or jerk while feeding. To prevent this from happening, you should ensure that your baby's neck and head are properly supported by your arm and hand at all times. Another important factor to consider is the mother's own comfort level. If she feels any discomfort or pain while breastfeeding in this position, it is best to stop and move to a different position. Lastly, it is important to remember that babies should never be left unattended while breastfeeding in any position. This includes the football hold as well. We hope this video has given you the confidence to breastfeed in any position, no matter your football team allegiances. No matter what your situation is, breastfeeding safely and comfortably is possible. If you have any questions or comments about how to make it work for you and your baby, please leave them below. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can keep up with all of our breastfeeding tips and tricks. Thanks for joining us today.